What is our third topic today?
All right, third one up is from Adam Ricketts. By the time you read this message, 20th Century Fox and other assets will be under the ownership of the Walt Disney Company. Hard to believe that the day has finally arrived. I want to know what you guys think of this historic day in film history.
Rob, we've been talking about it for a very long time, years now. The Disney-Fox merger, often always having to talk about it in terms of putting in that little asterisk saying, this deal is not done. This deal is not done. There are things they can't do because this deal is not done. Well, Rob, this morning at 12:02 a.m., it became official. Disney now owns Fox. It's done. We no longer have to talk about, guys, it's not going to close this deal for another year. Guys, it's not going to close this deal for another 6 months. Guys, this deal is going to take a few more weeks before it's closed. It's done. It's complete. It's wrapped. It's finished. The I's have been dotted. The T's have been crossed. The Mouse House now owns the Fox. And so, Rob, let me ask you this. Now, there are a lot of different sort of ramifications of this. Particularly, we all know, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, that the main reason this is done by a mile has nothing to do with X-Men, has nothing to do with Fantastic Four, has nothing to do with the MCU. It's all about Disney Plus. It is all about them acquiring assets and stuff to bolster their Disney Plus offerings. But as film fans, as movie fans, you have the direct phone line to Bob Iger. So Bob Iger, Alan Horn, Kevin Feige, they call you and Gilbert on a conference call, and they ask, Rob, okay, it's done. We're good now. We're in the clear. We can now officially actually start looking at doing things. And they ask you, what do we do first? Rob, from a filmmaker's perspective, from a movie fan's perspective, the Disney-Fox deal is done. What now? What happens first?
Well, it's funny you say that because at 12:03 this morning, Bob Iger texted me a link to watch the end title sequence from Endgame when the Silver Surfer at Galactus' ship and Galactus is first revealed saying, I hunger.
Oh, so they heard me. They heard my suggestion. I'm flattered.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome that he sent me that. But look, here's the thing. What I have seen, look, 20th Century Fox has a long history. They sold their backlot, which now is Century City, after they made Cleopatra because it was so damn expensive. Fox, from the very beginning, has been sliced up and cut apart. It has such a rich cinematic legacy. However, I am a futurist. I want to embrace change. It looks to me, based on the presence that Fox now has on Disney websites, that they're going to keep Fox as a vibrant brand. Whether it's Fox 2000, Fox Searchlight, and 20th Century Fox proper, they're going to keep it. It's one of the greatest brands in Hollywood history. I think they're going to continue to make movies because, listen, they've got to feed. They have to feed Disney Plus for the next century.
Yeah.
And in my mind, what Disney has done with brands, what Bob Iger has done, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, they're absorbing these things and they're exploiting them. And whatever you think of Disney's stewardship of Star Wars, you cannot deny what Disney has done with their regular animation, what they have done with Pixar's animation, what they've done with the MCU. I think we're going to continue to get grand entertainments. And frankly, if they're going to make more Die Hard movies, more Predator movies, more Alien movies, hell, more French Connection movies, if we get the kind of stewardship and the kind of grand plan that they perhaps in the long run, all of the naysayers, the people that right now, I'm sorry for all the people that are out of work, but this might be, in a way, a blessing in disguise. We might see these movies. They're going to want to continue to make these things. And God knows, we might get a better Alien film, I'm sorry to say, than we've had in the last decade. I'm strangely optimistic now. I didn't know if it would happen.
But the question is, what do they do first? What's going to be the first obvious big thing from a film fan's perspective that Disney now does with their new Fox assets? What should be the first thing that they do that we get to see?
They need to make a movie with the 20th Century Fox logo in front of it. I don't care what that movie is. I think if Marvel announces Phase 4, it should say phase 4. The word 4 should morph into the number 4, and a circle should come around the 4, and it should turn blue, and we can all scream. Or they call it Marvel Phase Fantastic Four. I don't know. I think that would be great. But what really has to happen is they show us that Fox Searchlight is going to continue to make Oscar caliber movies. They need to get a movie out under the 20th Century Fox banner in the next 6 months. And I think Fox Searchlight will be first to the gate on this one. I think Kevin Feige is going to make an announcement right after Homecoming comes out, and we all are going to have a really interesting end of the summer, probably burning pagan effigies to what Kevin Feige is going to bring to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Phase Fantastic Four, because that's what I'm going to call it from now on.
Yeah, I still don't think we're going to get Fantastic Four in Phase 4. I don't think we're going to get them in Phase 4, although the latter end of Phase 4 is a possibility because now they can start moving. But one of the interesting things when they were talking to the other day, we were talking about a story about Noah Hawley, who the creator of Legion and all that kind of stuff, was writing a Doctor Doom movie. You know, one of the things that he said after his conversation with Kevin Feige is that the thing is, Marvel's got their next 25,000 years planned out. They've got their next whole things already planned out. So he was almost inferring that there's really no room in a Phase 4 for a Doctor Doom film or something like that. So maybe it involves Fantastic Four. Maybe we got to wait a few extra years for Fantastic Four. But I actually do believe, Rob, that Fantastic Four should be the first thing up on their docket. Now, they've already got Black Panther 2 planned and in motion. They already have Doctor Strange 2 planned and in motion. They've already got Black Widow planned and in motion. They've already been talking about Eternals. And I mean, there's 4 or 5 films right there. Then they're probably going to do another Spider-Man. But I believe Fantastic Four is the best thing they need to do before they get into X-Men for a couple of reasons. Number one, X-Men is going to be something they need to take their time with if they are bringing it into the MCU. And my God, what I'd really rather them do is take a part of your idea, which is keep 20th Century Fox running as a brand and just keep the X-Men in 20th Century Fox. Don't bring them into the MCU. But it sounds like they're going to bring them into the MCU, which I don't want them to do, but they're going to do it. So that is something you got to take your time with. You got to lay lots of groundwork for that because that's a huge shift in your universe. Start things off with Fantastic Four. And the second reason you do it is because of this. Fantastic Four, more than any other brand coming over, needs rehabilitating badly. They have tried Fantastic Four a number of times, dropped the ball every single time. This is a franchise that needs rehabilitation. And it is, from a grand world building point of view, it is a much easier film to do right now because you can end Spider-Man Far From Home if you want with a reference to, I'm going over this place downtown. What's it called? The Baxter Building? You could just, and they fit right into the MCU right now without any groundwork being done. You could do that. So I say you do Fantastic Four first.
I've got a prediction.
Uh-oh.
I predict by Christmas of this year, not only is a Fantastic Four film going to be announced, I'm going to tell you who's going to direct it.
Oh. Tim Story.
Brad Bird.
Ooh.
Brad Bird is going to be announced as the director of Fantastic Four for the MCU. You heard it here first, kids. Bob Iger did not tell me that last night in his text.
Is that a little on the nose? Okay, first of all, obviously, Brad Bird.
It's perfection is what it is.
Director of The Incredibles. Everybody always considers The Incredibles the best Fantastic Four movies ever made. So I'll tell you what, man. To quote Princess Bride, and there was joy amongst the people. I mean, I think they announce Brad Bird, I still don't think it'll be by Christmas they'll make that announcement. But if they did, oh my God.
Nope, I'm telling you.
Parties everywhere.
It's the greatest thing. Brad Bird, look, if he brings a little Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol and he brings Incredibles to the table, is there ever a director that we all wanted to see make a certain movie? And I'm certainly not the person that first had this idea. I'm just telling you, it's going to, after James Gunn has been brought back into the fold at Marvel, anything can happen. The next obvious thing that everyone's Kevin Feige is just going to drop this announcement for everybody. If it doesn't happen before Christmas, it'll happen right after Christmas. But I guarantee you he's going to announce after Homecoming at some point, they're going to have another one of these press conferences and they're going to be like, guess what? Here's a picture of 9 of our new movies and they're all lined up and we're going to hear what they all are. And one of them is going to be Fantastic Four directed by Brad Bird.
I mean, and to kind of go to your point, you could announce Brad Bird's going to do a Fantastic Four, and it may not come out for 4 or 5 years. I mean, because Brad Bird, we know, likes taking a lot of time. So, I mean, that could fit both my scenario and yours, that, hey, maybe they don't cram it into phase 4, but you could announce it now and give Brad Bird all the time in the world to develop this movie and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you could do both. You could do both. All right. That's a great prediction. I love that prediction. What do you think, guys? For you guys watching at home, you're in charge. Bob Iger gives you a call and says, what's the first thing we should do now that we've got all the Fox assets and it's a done deal? Jump into the comment section and leave your thoughts.